advise any students coming out of college who are going to go into a classroom, I would first say thank you and then just offer them this guidance to always trust that the process, even when it doesn't look like it's going to work, the process will work. You just have to engage in what it is you are committing to do. And don't be afraid to reach out for the support that you need, because I think that so many of our young educators fall by the wayside because they don't get the support that they need or that they want or that they feel they deserve, and they do. They don't know what to ask for, and they don't know how to ask for certain things because this is brand spanking new for them. So I would encourage that new college graduate to find a school that you are just the right fit for. Build relationships with your team, with your administrators, and rely on those people to help you get through those pivotal points that can become discouraging because you are kind of unsure of what the next thing needs to be. But just to hang in there and trust that the process works if you really engage in and with that process.
And just to add to what Dr. Taylor said, I definitely commend any new teacher for following your passion and coming into a wonderful profession. And we welcome all educators. The advice that I would give, or the guidance, would definitely be to make sure that you're not afraid to speak up and make sure that you're not afraid for your voice to be heard. A lot of times it's really easy to sit in meetings or sit with veteran teachers or educators and feel like they've been doing this forever. They have all of the answers. And a lot of times we do have a lot of the answers, but what we don't have are that fresh set of eyes or that new innovation. And a lot of new teachers have so many new things to offer that we're not even familiar with, but sometimes they are afraid to speak up because they feel like, oh, well, I haven't been doing this long enough, or they don't feel validated. So don't be afraid to speak up. Share your ideas. We need them. We have been doing things for a very long time in education, and we know a lot of the nuances, but your ideas may be something that could solve new problems that we're experiencing, or even old problems. So your voice is just as valuable as anyone else's that's been there for a long time. Don't be afraid to share your thoughts and ideas.
I think that's so powerful because you can bring that new energy that might be just what the school needs to get to that next level.
Happy Saturday, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Sheikah. Good morning, everybody.
Yes, welcome to episode 106 of the REALL Academy, brought to you by Create and Educate. I am Dr. Sheikah Houston, and my trustmate in education, Dr. Tammy Taylor, and I bring you our information, our knowledge, our collaboration every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Principal Hurt right now is on a little hiatus. I think he had another engagement with one of his children, so he's been off the past 2 Saturdays, but we are honored to be a part of the Fantastic Four, where Principal Hurt is on. Sean Hurt is on at 10 a.m. normally. We Create and Educate are on at 10:30, followed by Principal Kafele at 10:55, and on Sundays, Josh, Dean, and Chris with Unlock the Middle at 7:30. So again, we are part of the Fantastic Four, and today we're going to be talking about supporting new teachers and cultivating teacher retention. If this is your first time tuning in, Dr. Taylor and I are school practitioners. We are leaders. We have served in multiple capacities, teacher level, assistant principal level, school district level leadership, principalships, and we just enjoy what we do. We have turned around her middle school, moved from failing grade all the way up to a B report card in 1 year. My middle school moved all the way from a failing report card grade up to a C report card grade in 1 year. And so now we are passionate about helping other leaders do that same work under the scope of leadership. So we have a real framework that you see at the top of the pane here. We have taken what we've learned along the way and placed it in this framework to help it be a little bit more easy for people to be able to navigate. So we use this framework with leaders, with our teachers, and it even goes down to the student level with our um, resilience as my superpower for students. But it all stands for respect, excellence, accountability, literacy, and leadership. Good morning, Principal Kafele.
Principal Cafe.
And good morning to everyone tuning in. Melissa, Miss Dot, Jace, Stacy, Lynette, and Jennifer. I see a couple of new people. So thank you all for joining us. And if you follow me on Facebook, it is my youngest daughter's birthday. So happy birthday to Bella.
Happy
She,
birthday, Bill.
yeah, she is 9 today. And I'm just getting back from a trip that my sister and I enjoyed. Her birthday was July the 30th. We went to Costa Rica, we visited Nicaragua, we visited Grenada. So we have had a fabulous time. And Tammy and I will be getting on the road tomorrow to go up to Detroit to Central Michigan University. So shout out to all of the leaders that we will be working with in our 3 sessions on Tuesday at Central Michigan University on leadership, cultivating culturally relevant classrooms, as well as literacy. So thank you again for joining us. So
Definitely.
again, that supporting new teachers and cultivating teacher retention. You heard us in an interview with Higher Definition Radio talking a little bit about that before we even started, where we have to make sure that we have things in place to support new teachers. This is a whole new world in education. Tammy and I, between the two of us, have about close to 50 years of experience in education. We're gonna have to figure out another way to say that. It just makes us sound old. I'm just joking, but we do have a lot of experience in education, and I remember as a principal remembering where that shift happened, because at first we used to interview teachers, but now they interview us. If you don't know how to sell your school, if you don't have that elevator pitch in place, if you don't know how to make people want to feel like they belong at your school, you're not going to even attract people to your school. That's an art form. You got to learn how to do that. And if you're not familiar with how to do that, it's something you definitely need, especially if you want to retain people, because they have so many options now. But with the large number of vacancies that have been happening all over the country, um, you know, we now have the opportunity to employ a number of international teachers. We have had that opportunity in our district, and it's been, a great um, thing that we've been able to do. We've learned a lot about their culture. They have brought their rich cultures to our schools. But one of the things that we had to do, and we're going to go through this with our framework, starting with respect. We had to respect the fact that even though many of them as international teachers had 15 to 20 years of experience, what they were not familiar with was how we did things in our country. We also were not familiar with their experiences. So we had to learn from them what their experiences were to be able to know how to make sure they felt acclimated to what we were offering or what we were providing at the school. One of the things that I had to make sure that I was doing was having that open line of communication. And one of the teachers said, it just feels like I don't know anything because you all use so many acronyms that I don't even know what you're talking about. So I had to step back, and every acronym that we use a lot of them in education. I don't think we realize it. And because I'm on the board for the medical university, I think every industry does, because I feel the same way when I'm in their board meetings and they're talking about medical jargon, bunch of acronyms. I have to ask, what are you talking about? So I had to make her and everybody that was new just a list of the acronyms and what they mean. And so that was not only helpful for my international teachers, but everyone who was new to the building. Because if you're new to education, you may not be familiar with, SCL and MTSS and all of those things that we just take for granted that people know that they don't know.
For sure. And I think one of the other things that just adds to what Shika was saying about international teachers, there's such a wealth of cultural information and experience that is added to your school. Just offer them the respect of allowing them to immerse the children in some of those experiences that they will never get otherwise. We include them in some of our celebrations when we're doing. One of them, I think, was our Christmas celebration, and we allowed them to do some demonstrations and just to show parents and students how these things are celebrated in the countries that they were representing, and the community loved it. So I think that having that level of respect, as Sheikah said before, is very, very important when dealing with international and new teachers because they have
Mhm.
a lot to bring to the table as well. The next tile in our framework is the E, which stands for excellence. And one of the things that provides for an excellent experience for new teachers is providing them with strong mentorship. You have to provide them with an opportunity to survive. And when new teachers come into our building, whether they're international or just fresh out of college, honestly, and sometimes new just to your district or to your school, you really have to support them instructionally, but you also have to support them emotionally. And the way to do that is through creating those relationships that they feel comfortable in going to someone for support or guidance,
Mhm.
and making the right connection and assigning the mentor who's going to really help them to be successful is very important. For example, our district has a district level mentor program that is outstanding. And our coordinator, Lisa Brett, we shout her out this morning because she does an amazing job with what she does. And she does a great job of trying to pair teachers in the building with the mentor who's going to help them to be successful. But sometimes what happens is the mentor might be on a different team. So it's also important that you provide team level leadership to all of your new people so that they understand the nuances and the dynamics of the teams that they're going to be on. We also want to make sure, as we are creating an excellent environment, that new teachers are able to understand your expectations for them for delivering instruction. They need to make sure that they understand school wide expectations, all those hidden rules that we have that we don't
Mhm.
write down, but this is just how we do things in our building. You have to make sure that somebody's there to share that information with them, and that you are providing a good model for that. And then for communicating with parents, because one of the things that we've heard over time that is really stressful for new teachers is communicating with parents. And I'm not sure if that's just a part of this whole new thing with nobody really wants to communicate anymore except to text people. But they really struggle sometimes in that area. So one thing that we can suggest is creating a situation in your building where you design and present for your new folks a new teacher orientation where they are understanding what the expectations at your building are. And then making sure that you are checking in on that and providing high quality feedback for them. Another thing, and this is the last point of excellence, is just making sure that you allow your coaching staff. I have incredible coaches. Shika's had the benefit of good coaches. Making sure that the coaches have the time that they need to coach them up to being the teachers that they can be, and so that they feel comfortable and successful in what they're doing in their classrooms.
Most definitely, Tammy. And to that point, you talked about how some of the new teachers feel uncomfortable talking with parents. I sat on a new teacher panel, I think it was last year, where they just discussed some of the things that they wish they had known or had been prepared for coming in. And in student teaching, they mentioned how they're always paired with a strong teacher, which, of course, and being from leadership, your rationale is, well, hey, you want to make sure they're modeling or replicating perfection. So you're going to put them with the best. But what that did, they said, was when problems did arise, when you're somewhere where there really weren't any problems, now you don't know how to navigate them. So it might be a good idea to balance that out a little more, so they can figure out ways of how to navigate different things that may arise. And one of the things was they said no one had really sat with them and just walked them through how to communicate with a parent. And especially with the younger teachers, they felt like some of the parents are just as same age as my parents. So it's intimidating talking to some of the parents and not really knowing how to navigate those conversations. So, just a few instances where you're able to model that with them or put them with a veteran teacher who can model that for them and then be with them while they're doing that will be probably appreciated as a great level of support. So, the next part of our acronym is accountability. And one of the biggest complaints, not just from new teachers, but even from veteran teachers, is that they do not receive the feedback that they would like to receive from coaches, administrators, district level people, and I know that we all are busy. Tammy and I have walked into those shoes, but you have to make time to be in classrooms. That's what we are primarily there for, because if you're not there giving them feedback and you're on the instruction, everything else kind of is not, that's one of the top priorities of the day, observing and giving feedback. And so you do want to make sure that at first that you're not just going in to say, well, hey, I saw this, I saw that, because if you don't have anything in the tank with people, you can't make withdrawals. So you got to go in first and put some things in the tank. Just be present, see what they're going through, make some, conversations with them and the children. The children should be used to you coming in. And then when it's time to actually start that coaching piece, now that will go over a whole lot better because I have spent some time in here and made some deposits. So when I do have to make some withdrawals, it doesn't feel like it's an attack or anything.
Yes, and I think that people appreciate that when you are already in the positive and you have shown them how much you value them. When you
Mhm.
have to have a conversation that is not as positive, because there are some things that we need to work on this. they
Right.
receive that much better. So I think that's a great point, Shika. The last part of the acronym is our literacy and leadership, and we're gonna combine the two today because we're going to make sure that we are out of here in time for you guys to log on with Principal Kafele. But what we want to just share is like literacy is a part of the work that we do because we want to make sure that we are promoting literate people, both with math and in reading, of course. And that goes back to making sure that the professional development that we are providing to our new people and our seasoned staff are relevant. Like we want to make sure that we are looking at different models of professional development and really paying attention to that flipped model and giving people what they need versus just creating your PD plan for the year and this is what we're going to do and this is what we're going to stick to, making it and tailoring it to the needs that you have on the staff. Another thing that is a part of the leadership process, and Chica mentioned this before, but just getting in there, observing what's going on in those classrooms, and then sharing how that relates to the goals that you've set for the school. Like, I'm seeing these things when I go into classrooms. These are things that are going to propel us towards whichever goals you're discussing that you are going to reach for that school year. The other thing that we want to do is model. Like you want to model, you can get in there and co-teach with them. You can provide them the encouragement that they need to be innovative. Shika said that in the promo video that Higher Definition Radio did for us. You want to capitalize on the fact that these people are new. They're coming in with some really strong and innovative ideas, and it could be just what we need to think about doing things a little bit differently than the way we've done them before. And an important thing in that leadership aspect of what you're doing is you want to avoid isolation. Don't allow your new people to feel like they are just an add-on. Make them an integral part of your family at the school, and make sure they know that they belong just as much as the next person. And then finally, guys, make sure that we provide them with the resources that they're going to need, and that includes just the things that you can be proactive about, instructional guides and creating expectations that they understand, classroom management, time management, safety, everything that is going to be a part of helping them to feel like they know what's happening within your school.
Most definitely. And I'm going to put this up so everyone can see the larger view of Create and Educate's five super strengths. Again, that door is respect, excellence, accountability, literacy, and leadership is everything that we talked about today. With making sure that we're supporting our new teachers. This is our framework that we use in all of our leadership training. um, these are some of the things that we've done this year, attending Black Educators Rock to present. Shout out to the all of the great leaders that we were able to share some time with in Gastonia last week at the Teacher and Learning Conference. That was an excellent session. So we hope that you all have had a great start to your year. I think I've seen a few people log on today. And again, shout out once more to our great people that we're going to be spending some time with up at Central Michigan University with 3 sessions on school turnaround, resilient readers, and creating culturally relevant classrooms. So we are excited to travel there on tomorrow. Pray for safe travels for us. As Principal Kafele says, the travel gods, hopefully they'll shine some greatness on us and we won't have any delays or anything. But we have enjoyed seeing you all log on today. Share the feed, share the information, invite more people. Thank you all for being here every Saturday. Please log on with us next on Principal Kafele's page to hear his great interview. And then on Sunday, with Unlock the Middle with Josh and Dean. Thank you all.
And Miss Beverly, thank y'all so much. We appreciate you, all of you. Hope you all have a great Saturday and an amazing week next week.
Definitely. Hey, Mom.